Happy New Year, everybody. It was a great day for Auburn yesterday. It really was. I know our team, our coaches, we were all locked in. I'm just so happy for our football team, our football program, athletic department. To win the bowl game and have these seniors go out and win, and just the win that it puts in all of our sails as far as moving into next season. And I think more than anything, I was just so proud of how our players were so excited about being there and represented. And just for me a little bit, the way we finished last year, winning 3 games in the tournament, and the way our football team finished, winning that bowl game and playing as well as they played and feeling so good about themselves, I'd sort of be remiss the day after if it just didn't come to mind. So I'm really, really excited about that for them. We had a very tough road trip. We knew it was going to be challenging, and we hoped we were ready for the opportunity, but we weren't. Xavier at home was certainly formidable. We didn't start well. We got a great win over New Mexico in the first game and bounced back well. And then Harvard was an outstanding defensive team. They were very physical. They outplayed us. And then, of course, we play Hawaii, and we lose T.J. Dunnins. And we compete, and with 9 minutes to go, we have a 9-point lead against a team from Hawaii at home that just about could have, should have beaten Oklahoma, and people think they're one of the best teams in the country. So we're a difficult team to really evaluate as far as where we're at right now. We could be a little better, we could be a little worse. Certainly we're not happy with the outcome. I would have loved to have been able to go 2-1 out there against that competition. From an injury standpoint, T.J. Dunnins is out 3 to 5 weeks. He has a severely bruised knee. We believe that his patella dislocated and caused a lot of bruising. Tremendous amount of swelling. The good news is the MRIs have shown that his ACL and his MCL are intact, and so it does not look like anything needs surgery, but it's pretty banged up. Obviously, the trip back from Hawaii was difficult, and so he's working hard rehab-wise. We lost Taj in the first half against Xavier. Again, from a standpoint of just having that be a devastating loss for our team, our starting point guard, and the fact that we giving Kareem and Taj the opportunity to play together, I think, helps us in a lot of ways. So we lose that opportunity. And of course, Taj was just coming back from being out for about 2.5, 3 weeks to see if that thing is right. He has an MRI scheduled for a couple days from now. I think he has not gotten his MRI because he's not playing right now. And we're trying, at that time the MRI will tell us what kind of damage he's done, as it then will relate to whether or not he has to have surgery again immediately and he's out for the year, or whether or not it's still possible for him to strengthen, brace, and try to play.
Who's your backup point guard?
Our backup point guard will be either, I could actually play the quarterback situation. I'll tell you who it is. But because there's not that much difference in the scouting report between Zach Allison and Pat Kime, I don't think I'll torture you guys this week as far as who my backup point guard is going to be. So it'll be one of those two. Unless you have another idea. Because we did try Todd. We've had now, this is interesting. We've had Taj, we've had Zach Allison, we've had Pat, we've had Kareem, we've had T.J. Dunnins, and we've had New Williams. So we've had 6 point guards out there.
Bruce, at this point for Taj, do you think is it almost more like mentally taxing than anything physically, just having to continue to try to work back from this every time it happens?
Well, I think the fear is, what can I do and what can't I do? He's trying to be out there even on a limited role, because Taj with 2 feet, 1 good arm, and his head can help us. And but he went in for a layup against Xavier and then got spun out and then came down, and he wasn't able to support himself. So if anatomically he's predisposed to those dislocations, okay? And with strength and the brace, will it be enough to hold it in there? I don't know, but I'm sure it is pretty taxing on him mentally.
Bruce, it's interesting that you say you don't know where you are right now, because there's a lot of teams that haven't played the schedule that you have and don't know in live competition yet how they're going to look. Is that something that you feel like you know at least partly where you are?
I'll tell you one thing, we're battle tested and we're battle worn. I will tell you that. Because if you go back to the early portions of our schedule and you look at our play against UAB in Colorado early, it was good. Now Taj, I believe, was the Colorado game he got hurt in. It was, and guys, it had a major impact on our team because he's my best defensive player, he's my point guard, and does a lot of things for us. And one of the things that we did as far as teaching was we took that Colorado game and we looked at us defensively, particularly in the first half. We were awfully good. And then in the second half, we weren't as good, and part of it was without Taj. Showing the team now, okay, now let's look at Hawaii. And we were able to see the difference between how we guarded against Colorado, how we guarded against Hawaii. Now, Hawaii was the third game in 4 days, I understand that, but we were not as engaged. We need to be engaged against Tennessee to be able to beat them. Tennessee is a very athletic team. They are quick, they're undersized, but they play bigger. They're second in the league in block shots. They're big at the rim. And so, from a matchup standpoint, covering Tennessee is going to be our greatest challenge. And because they do a wonderful job of getting the ball to the basket, and they drive, draw, and dish, and knock down threes, and they're a tough cover. When they score more than 71 points, they win. When they don't, they don't. So our defense is going to be really important. We can't turn the ball over against them and create offense for them. They're really good in a fast break. And so that's going to be our greatest challenge is guarding.
Bruce, earlier this month you were saying you were hoping by the end of this month or the 1st of January you maybe have some resolution on D'Angelo. Is that still just out there at the moment?
It's still out there,
yeah.
And there's still it's still an ongoing process, and we do expect some finality sometime in January.
Seems kind of odd to even ask this, quite honestly, Bruce, but I know it's not resolved yet. So Trayvon, and you said that there's a possibility at the end of the first semester. Where's his status at this point?
I think that's still, because the semester doesn't start until I think January 18th. I don't think any decision has been rendered. It's the option is still available.
Is it something with him? Do you text with him, I guess, like once a week? Like how much, I guess, direct contact do you still have with him when it comes to Trayvon?
That's probably more something that we'll keep in-house. Anybody else?
You mentioned for the backup point guard deal with New, he was recruited as that. You had said from
Yeah.
Hawaii that he's just not capable. Is that his size?
That's a great question. New Williams was recruited as point guard. He was a high school off guard that we thought, because of his size, we could convert him into a point guard. And it became fairly apparent that he was better off the ball, and that his best attributes are his ability to shoot the ball. And so what happened, there are two things. One, because of his knee, he is physically not 100% with the brace. And so his athleticism, his speed, his quickness is compromised because of his knee. And then in his game, he's a better shooter than he is a ball handler. That we've made a decision that right now it doesn't appear like he can play the point.
And you started Horace over Sim out there. Was that just a strategic thing for that week, or are you looking forward to keeping Horace in that spot?
It's interesting because statistically, we're better with Horace on the floor because of his presence defensively. The problem is I can't keep him on the floor because of fouls. And when he's on the floor, he does play some with Sim, because Sim will play the power forward position as well. So part of the reason was to start better, both halves defensively. When both teams are fresh, it should be harder to score. And so the idea was, let's start a better defensive lineup, and then let's bring some firepower off the bench. And that's part of the reason there was a time when Bryce Brown was coming off the bench, Simeon was coming off the bench. And all of a sudden, you bring some, you bring 2 or 3 of top 5 scorers, you bring some firepower off the bench. So Horace has done fine starting, Sim's done well off the bench, and we could stay with that for a while.
So it didn't have anything to do with some of Sim's decision-making before that road trip or anything off the court?
No. Just I thought he would give us. I thought we'd better defensively with Horace, and Sim would bring us energy off the bench.
Bruce, earlier this season, you said that you're not going to lie. I mean, you mentioned that you enjoy the matchups, the kind of the coaching. You versus another guy. Barnes, you're talking about a guy who's won 600 career games, and you faced him 3 times. What is it about the matchup with him that you always look forward to? What is it that he does that's...
Well, the thing you look, when he was at Texas,
Yeah.
His teams were incredibly talented and well coached, and a lot of pros. And I got a chance to play him one time when he had Kevin Durant, and that was just an incredible treat to, for our fans to be able to see Kevin Durant, our fans in Tennessee to be able to see Kevin Durant play up close in person. And I think it was a double or triple overtime game. And then to go against one of the best coaches in college basketball is a great challenge and a great opportunity, to match wits against one of the best. I think he's done a great job with his team this year. They've got 4 seniors, and they've got some good players. They're not terrifically deep, but the guys they put on the floor are good. And there's a couple McDonald's All-Americans out there, and they're pretty good. They're tough cover. They play small ball. And, when Amani Moore is playing 3 or 4, we didn't have anybody that could handle him on the inside, and he's their 3 and 4 man. So it's a physical, athletic team that will that definitely present us some problems.
Well, I guess my last thing is there anything for you anymore now that, you got kind of out of your system last year going up to Knoxville, or is there anything that you still look and see the Tennessee uniform? Is there anything that's awkward about that at all, or since the players are gone, is there anything, I guess what I'm asking, is there any residual feeling at all?
It's the opening game of the SEC. It's an important game. It matters. Tennessee fired me. And that speaks for itself. They fired me. And so it is a game that matters. I have great affection for Tennessee and for their fans, and and for what we do with Tennessee basketball. And human nature would say, I'd say, no, it doesn't mean any more to me. The Alabama game means more. It's a rival. The Kentucky game means more. They're the best program in our league. The Tennessee game means a little bit more. They did fire me. So it's something that, it's just the truth.
Bruce, I know you look at...
And that ironic.
You look at a national perspective of the league. Again, you get 7 teams in the top 50. Is it a situation where, again, playing league opponents is going to help instead of maybe hurt, as it has in the past? Where
Yeah, the math is good, from the standpoint of with 7 teams in the top 50, and we are 6 and 5, and our RPI is 75. So we're in position, right now, but we've got to be able to, find ways to win close games. Second half defense, free throws are a couple of areas that if we can improve on, we can, our chances of winning some of these games that we've lost go way up.